I live in a large apartment complex, 20 plus floors, with a large lobby, and every time I enter or leave the building, the concierge greets me with some kind of strange greeting like, "Hope today makes you smile," when I leave, or "Welcome home," when I come back. Every time, this social interaction just feels so disingenuous and contrived and leaves me feeling kind of uncomfortable. I should add, this is the first time I've lived in a building with a 24/7 concierge, but other buildings I've lived in with concierges only acknowledged me when I addressed them directly. I get that the concierges in my apartment are just doing their jobs, and they provide a level of security for the building, but I find their style of interaction to be over the top. I came back one time from a week-long vacation, and I suppose the concierge didn't recognize me because I walked in with my boyfriend after he scanned into the building, walked by the desk without checking in, as is apparently required for guests, and she yelled at me from across the lobby, excuse me. And I had to let her know that I live there by holding up my building key fob in order for her to stop pestering me. In order to avoid these interactions, I now walk around the buildings with earbuds in, the universal symbol for please do not talk to me, and don't make eye contact when passing the desk. I figured they would pick up on the nonverbal cue that I'd like to be left alone, but my most recent interaction with them demonstrates that they haven't picked up on it. The other day, I walked in the building with my boyfriend, and he greeted the concierge at the front desk. I gave her a slight reflexive wave as well to be polite, and she responded sarcastically, "Wow, so you decided to notice me today? First time ever," or something to that effect. I just laughed awkwardly and walked on. To be clear, I don't feel this same way about all service workers, literally only these concierges at this particular building. I greet the housekeeping staff in my building, as well as the concierge at my office building, particularly because we pass each other in such close proximity. These particular concierges at my apartment building get on my nerves because the interactions always feel so forced, almost like it's a requirement for me to interact with them and get their blessing before I go to my apartment where I live. I wish they would understand that a lot of times after a long day of work or early in the morning when I am leaving for work, I am not a complete human being and don't feel like having yet another forced interaction. But maybe that's just my social anxiety. However, this last interaction has made me feel even more awkward and anxious entering and leaving my building, and has got me wondering whether I'm an idiot for not wanting to greet the concierge every time I exit and enter my apartment. What do you guys think? ***. Edit. I should add the concierge desk is about 50 feet from the front doors, so I am not walking directly in front of them while trying to not make eye contact, but more like trying to slip by unnoticed. Might not make a huge difference in the am I the idiot analysis, because they are still clearly trying to make an effort to communicate with me every time I enter the building, albeit from a greater distance. ***. Edit. #2. A lot of people seem to be assuming that I'm a woman, but I'm a man. Also, there are a handful of concierges, most of them women with one being a man. The female concierges are typically the ones that make forced interactions, and the male concierge seems to take note of who enjoys the interactions and who doesn't, and responds accordingly. Based on the pointed nature of some of the comments, I'm beginning to wonder how many of these comments are expecting me to behave a certain way solely based on their perception that I am a woman. Just something to note. Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot TLDR. I'm a former concierge and supervisor for concierge security. You're not sitting at the desk to greet or talk to every person. In a standard-sized condo building, there are 14 suites per floor, and sometimes 30 standard floors with at least 2 people in each, assuming some units are one person and others are families. That's 840 people in a regular-sized building. There is no expectation for the concierge to talk to all of them or greet all of them. I'm assuming their shifts are 12-hour blocks if she sees you in the morning and after work, so I'd bet she's doing this because it helps her stay awake. Regardless, all types of security, especially concierge, are specifically told that if someone doesn't want to talk to you and isn't breaking a rule, just leave them. It's bad customer service to continuously hound the property manager's clients, including tenants and residents. And concierge and security is primarily a customer service job. Comment 2. You're the idiot? Acknowledging these other humans requires only a nod or wave, and you can't even manage that? Good grief. Their boss likely has made that a requirement of their job duties. It's like a fast food person being told to ask if you want to upsize your drink. They don't like it either, but they're trying to do a job and you're an idiot in return. I would say the concierge is a slight idiot for the sarcastic remark, but it sounds like you're on their last nerve. Comment 3. I'm really shocked everyone is voting you the idiot. It was wildly inappropriate for her to not only be so condescending and passive-aggressive at her job, but to choose to do so, 1, in front of your guest, and 2, while you're in your home. They say, never punish the behavior you want to see, and she did just that. It's such ignorant behavior. I doubt her shaming you in front of an audience has now made you want to interact with her more, not the idiot. Now, for the next story. My mom initially told me she would be willing to pay for my wedding. She discussed contributing the same amount she did for my brother's wedding. Recently, though, she was pushing me to ask my dad, they're divorced, how much he was willing to pay. She even told me to tell him that she would match however much he wanted to contribute. I was nervous to ask my dad about money because I haven't grown up with him really and always feel guilty asking for money. My mom continued to push me, so when I called my dad and his wife were on the phone and gave me a large number, they'd contribute and said if I needed anything past that, they'd for sure want to help. They kept asking if the amount they gave was enough and asked if my mom was going to help pay. I told them yes, because she said she was. I tell my mom about our conversation, and she is overjoyed. I assumed she was happy for me because I had some money towards the wedding fund, and therefore didn't have to stress so much about pricing. Well, she tells me the other day that she assumed that my dad was paying for everything. She seemed very disappointed. That wasn't the outcome of the convo. When I said that I told him she would match him, she goes, "No way am I matching that." Then she plunged into this spiel that he should actually pay for it because she has done so much over the years for me. Yet, my dad paid for college and paid his child support. I am 32 and haven't needed financial help from my mom since I was 22, living on my own. Now, my mom wants to call my dad directly after telling me over and over that I really need to call him and ask about how much money he would contribute. She knows I hate doing this because I have hated it for years. I always had to call about my tuition payments and any costs they would split. I am nervous as to why she wants to call him all of a sudden. Should she not just be happy he is willing to give me so much? I can tell her to not call him. I don't care about the amount of money my mom wants to give. I just am hurt by the fact she is phrasing it in such a shitty way. It's just nice when my dad and stepmom and even my fiance's mom keep telling us that they want us to have the best wedding that we want and that they're there to help us out. It's just the thought that counts. I am by no means an extravagant person and wouldn't want to waste anyone's money. All of our families are very well off. Plus, all my siblings had extravagant weddings. We also all discussed the option of having everyone contribute to a joint bank account, and whatever money we don't use for the wedding, we can use to hopefully get a house. I believe that she now knows that he is going to pay a ton, it'll cover the wedding, so therefore she doesn't need to help. I don't care about the money. I care about her not even caring to try and contribute. Every other parent says they want us to have the best wedding that we want, whereas she is constantly telling me, "That's too expensive, that's too much, wedding days aren't even important because it's only one day." And I'm trying to plan a wedding of less than $10,000, which is frustratingly difficult due to where we live. Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Would telling your mom you don't need her to match what your dad paid, but for her to pay the amount she paid for your brother be a potential solution? It is terrible that she has made you be a proxy in these negotiations as a child, but you are old enough now. You should stand for yourself on this issue. If she told you she would match what your dad gives and he gave more than she is comfortable with, just lower it down. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Your mother wasn't honest with you. It sounds like she wanted to spend as little as possible and find an excuse not to spend a penny. Basically, here's what happened. I want to help you. Okay, thanks. Why should I help you? I've already done so much for you. She manipulates you and makes the favor she wanted to do for you seem like some kind of request. Comment 3. Not the idiot. She is outright lying by first saying she would match whatever he contributed. She obviously thought he would lowball the amount. I'd say if she's making such a stink and going back on her word, then maybe she can just sit the whole affair out. I mean, who wants a bitter, jealous person at their wedding? Now, for the next story. My best friend forever, Summer, 16-year-old female, and I, 16-year-old female, have been best friends since we were 2 years old and in the same daycare together. We've been inseparable ever since. When we were about 8 years old, Summer's mom took us to get these really cute friendship bracelets. They're real jewelry, not the kind for kids. They were a little big for us back then, but we did grow into them perfectly. When I was 10 years old, my dad got remarried, and my stepmom came with her own daughter, Elizabeth, who is the same age as me. I don't dislike Elizabeth, we get along fine, but we're not super close either. She wants us to be, and she's expressed jealousy towards Summer for years. Elizabeth doesn't have many friends, and I don't think any of her friends are actually close. They'll hang out sometimes, but they are never there for each other, and they don't hang out all that often or act much like friends in general. I think that might be why Elizabeth has so much focus on us being sisters. I don't mind being around Elizabeth, but she and I could never be as close as me and Summer. Summer was there when my mom died, and I was there when Summer's brother died. We have pretty much our whole lives with history together, and I don't remember a time where I didn't know Summer. The jealousy got worse last year when my asthma got really bad. Since then, I have been in and out of school, and Elizabeth thought it meant I would spend way more time with her than with Summer. But Summer still comes over. The friendship bracelet stuff really kicked off last week, though. I'm out of school for a while because we're trying to get my asthma under control, and Elizabeth's grandparents are staying with us, my stepmom's parents. Elizabeth had told her grandparents we were best friends forever, so when they saw the bracelet, they assumed it was one to represent the two of us. Elizabeth was like, I shouldn't wear it all the time, and she said, I should have a friendship bracelet with her instead of with Summer. I told her Summer is my best friend forever, though, and we've had these since we were little kids. Elizabeth said she doesn't care, and she said it's wrong for me to wear it when I know how she feels. My stepmom spoke to Elizabeth after one outburst a few days ago that was heard by everyone at home. She told her that I'm allowed to have a best friend, and she should focus on her own friendships. My dad checked in on me and tried to figure out if a compromise might be possible where Elizabeth and I have our own thing. But we're not close enough for that, and I told him so. He then asked me if it was possible that some of the reason I don't feel very strongly toward her is because of his and my stepmom's rocky relationship, and I said I wasn't sure, but maybe. For clarification on that, he and my stepmom fight a lot, and they broke up twice in their 6-year marriage. I'd be surprised if they stay married long term. Elizabeth still says I'm wrong to wear the bracelet when it bothers her, especially at home. Am I the idiot? Now, for the next story. I, 26-year-old female, have been estranged from my father since I was 17 when I moved several states away to be with my grandparents. This was a decision made by him after the death of my twin sister. Background: our mom died when we were 7, and Dad picked us both up and moved us so we could start afresh. He started dating one of our teachers within weeks of our move, and they married and had more kids. When my sister was 15, she was diagnosed with cancer, and she died after 2 years of fighting to stay alive. The last time she went into the hospital, she told the nurses she only wanted me, our dad, or our grandparents to see her, and she did not want to see our dad's wife or the other kids. When Dad heard this, he decided we would not go to see her. I argued against his decision. He said our half-siblings wanted to be there and would always remember being denied the chance to say goodbye. I argued that the oldest two would remember at 8 and 7, but the others were 4 and younger and would not. I also said her final few days or weeks were about my sister and nobody else. He still refused, and I told him I would never forgive him if he kept me from my sister, my real sister. The one I came into this world with and was supposed to have for my whole life at my side. He relented, and I went every day until she died. My father said my actions meant I could not live there anymore or have contact with his family. He said he knew I didn't care and that I was going back with my grandparents. That was the last time I saw or spoke to any of them. I had a baby a few weeks ago. I named her after my sister's favorite flower. It seemed like a better way to honor my sister and give my daughter her own name. I posted about the story behind her name on Facebook, and then my half-sister, who would be 16-year-old, now contacted me on some random account and said I should not be naming my daughter after that girl. And did I not think about the fact it will alienate my daughter from her family because my sister is a painful memory for her and her family now? I sat on the direct message for a few days, and then I replied firmly that I did not care about their feelings and they would not be around my daughter. I said I have every right to honor my sister and to please stay away from my Facebook page, which we're not friends on anyway, if she is bothered. I had to go private after this because I was inundated with messages from her and my half-brother who said I was an ass and cruel. Am I the idiot? Now, here are the comments. Comment 1. You're not the idiot. People that make a tragic teenage death all about themselves are absolutely disgusting. Your sister is a painful memory for them, and your baby simply being named after a flower she loved is a trigger for them? They can frick right off. She was your damn twin. And the way your father can throw away and replace family like that is also sick. I'm sorry for your losses. You will never be the idiot over people that literally made a child's death into their own drama. Comment 2. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Your father was cruel and heartless during the worst time of your life. Not the idiot, of course. You did the right thing by stopping this circus right away. Your half-sister only sent you one message, and it was a hateful one, which says a lot about what your life would be like with them. Congratulations on your daughter. You've given her a name with a beautiful meaning, and it's a very nice gesture to honor your sister. Comment 3. Not the idiot, but your father is a horrible one. He should have honored your sister's last wishes and supported her. Please try to remember that your half-siblings have been fed a diet of vitriol their entire lives and shouldn't be held responsible for their very skewed beliefs. That doesn't mean that you need to be open to them, so block away. Congratulations on your new little one, and I love how you honored your sister with the name. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.